had a very popular saying in my that majority carries the vote, right? So if majority of Nigerians came out to vote and voted a certain result that never was published, why is it that all of the sentiments that play in, whether in religion or in tribal sentiments, will still work out for the minority, right? Why do these things, I don't know, keep happening? Why is it that we never get to see, the end, a justification, a true picture of what really happened and true justice happening in Nigeria? Why is this happening even when it appears to be clear that the majority of the people have been disenfranchised or have been hurt by this situation? The majority of the people have done their best. Why does it seem like that does not impact on the results? Because I've had a very popular saying in that majority carries the vote, right? So if majority of Nigerians came out to vote and voted a certain result that never was published, why is it that all of the sentiments that play in, whether in religion or in tribal sentiments, will still work out for the minority, right, to win? The minority in the sense that majority of Nigerians did their best, voted in mass for a certain result, but the minority, were able to control the effects or the result itself, the outcome of that process, tilting it, perverting justice, and we were not getting justification, and we still seem to be in that process of seeking justice and justification. Why is that a very clear situation? That's very intriguing. That intrigues me a lot. Like, it's obvious, right? Why is that the situation?
Well, there are some questions you may not have all the answers to, but I think the little I can say is that the war we have in Nigeria is between the majority and the political class, and unfortunately, the political class controls the power. They control the army, they control the police, they control all the security architecture in Nigeria, and they have the means to make the majority to cower, just like what happened at the Lekki toll gate. The moment they released their military talks to blast the scores of innocent civilians who were agitating for good government. And don't forget that in terms of the Constitution, the Constitution is the social contract that the individual signed with the government in an exchange for better life. But then, if the government fails to do what they signed in terms of the social contract, it is the right of the individuals to protest. So these people were protesting in a democratic setting. So they wanted good governance. They wanted, some changes in the system. And the best you could do was to unleash your, military talks to shoot sporadically and blast the scores of unarmed innocent civilians, and some of them died in instanta. So that cowered the majority. That cowered, in fact, and silenced the voice of majority of Nigerians. So that's why I said to you that the war in Nigeria is between the political class and the political class are very intelligent. They know, the card they can play to silence the voice of the majority. And they are playing that card and they are playing it very well. And they know that an average Nigerian does not want to die. An average Nigerian will prefer to suffer in silence and smile, without enjoying the dividends of democracy.
Now, if we could actually put the people who actually played major roles in the just concluded elections, or who have been playing major roles in the elections, in Nigeria, we could group them. We could find their demographics. By demographics, I mean based on their work. What kind of job are they performing? What roles do they play in the society? Let's bring it down. Let's narrow it down. So, for example, the INEC's officials, what class of work do they perform in Nigeria? Are they grouped under the military or the civil service, or what?
No.
And the INEC, yes, INEC officials and the political class. Let's start with the INEC officials now, and those who were supposed to be the ones to ensure that there was an election of that day. Well, let's start with INEC. We're going to go into the police, and then we would talk about, so that we know the people who are actually playing these major roles and those who are the ones who are more like the victims here.
No, you see, the role of an INEC in a political spectrum is the role of an unbiased and independent umpire.
So are they under the Nigerian civil service?
In that class, yes, they are remunerated by the government, but they are not. They are an independent institution.
So they are not civil servants.
You can call them. Say anybody who is working in INEC is a civil servant.
So they are civil servants.
Yeah, they are civil servants, but they are independent. They are not controlled. They are not supposed to be controlled by the executive arm of the government. You understand? So that's why they are called. It's just like in a football match where you have two opposing teams, and the referee is an independent umpire. Imagine when the referee now leave his core competence and encroach into the domain of the two
but
teams.
But they are certainly public servants, are they?
Sorry?
Are they public servants?
Yeah, they are remunerated by the public.
So they are public servants.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are, in terms of the law, they are supposed to be independent. It's just like the judiciary. Judiciary should be independent. You understand? The remuneration of the judges should not be subjected to the control of the executive. You understand? But the legislatures should make the budget and give them what is due to them. So let the judiciary manage themselves. Because if they don't manage themselves, then if they will be controlled by the other arm of the government, which is the executive. You understand? So the same way, the INEC should function. The budget for the INEC should be separate. They are independent umpire. So the executive should not control what the INEC, how they manage their resources. You understand? So when there's a budget, the allocation should be given to them and they should manage them so that nobody will tell them what to do. So, but in Nigeria, you will find out that the one who should be independent is part and parcel of a particular political party, working in cahoots to deliver them. So that's the problem. And when you now talk about the police and other military paraphernalia, they are all working in concert.
Okay.
You understand? Just to deliver a particular. I believe that before they performed that, there must have been an instruction from the center. The ruling party.
The ruling parties. Okay.
You understand?
Now we are going into looking at other players here. There were the youth corpers who were assigned to the polling units, who have always been part of elections. to help facilitate the process. And there are also election agents, right? I don't know what they're called. Those are the people who must sign,
Yeah, agents. Yeah.
to confirm that the elections were conducted and
Party
counted.
agents.
Party agents. So there were party agents there, and all of that. Then we also now have the political class. We have the governors who play a very significant role in ensuring that there's a free and fair election in their states. And we have incidents, clear recordings of even a governor, and we recognize his voice, in those recordings, who ensured and even threatened certain people, and he's still a governor. Serving governor has not been indicted in any way, and he's not been reprimanded in any way. He's still holding his political office. Like, that is another very alarming and very intriguing situation happening in Nigeria before the eyes of these youths who are just perhaps students, who have just, or perhaps just individuals who maybe never got the chance to go to school, 18 years and above, perhaps running their businesses, perhaps public servants, perhaps also people in the military, in one of these military or paramilitary services, who take part in the elections, and greatly, maybe traders, I don't know, those who even form the majority of Nigerians, because in Nigeria, we have a serious unemployment issue and all of that. So how do you classify on your own? Because I've just tried to do my own classification. How do you classify as the ordinary civilian, and those who really go out to participate in the elections, and those who really participated in this past election, because there were changes. Definitely a lot of the youths participated, and how they felt disenfranchised, and why that is a serious problem in Nigeria today, causing mass immigration and people feeling like Nigeria cannot work anymore. They feel hopeless. There've even been stories of people who have committed suicide. Have you heard about any yourself, verified any of this? And basically, how do you really classify those who have been fueling this problem and those who have been innocent in this whole situation? Especially, we want to look at the innocent ones, because we are looking at a situation where Nigeria, a lot of people are immigrating out of the country, and it is rubbing off on the image of Nigerians abroad already. Because, for example, in the UAE, Nigerians have a reputation of going into crime and in desperation to survive. So we need to really get to the root cause of this problem and to really know what is really going on in Nigeria, and why is it that Nigerians are having problems abroad when they immigrate into other countries, or try to immigrate into other countries. And are Nigerians really bad people?
Okay, you've asked a lot of questions here, and I wish to. I wish I can just summarize it the way they are. You see, when you have a wayward father or parents, uh, like I said earlier, it has a way of rubbing off on the children. It will take miracle for the children to not to be wayward. I've seen families growing up where the parents were so loose and their children became so loose. And that is what is happening in the Nigerian society today. Our our government has failed the people. We have no respect in the international community, and because the government is irresponsible, it is producing irresponsible citizenry. You cannot go to any nation and disrespect an American citizen. The very same respect that you have to their government is the very same respect you accord to their citizens anywhere you find them in the world, just like Canadian citizens,
Okay.
just like Chinese people, just like Russians. You cannot see, Russians or Americans or Saudi Arabians migrating to Nigeria, on a golden fleece. You hardly can see that. Expect anytime you see an American coming to Nigeria, that person is treated as an expatriate. So what is causing it? It is because they have a stable government. Everybody is looking for a government. The reason why we have millions of people in Africa traveling, to Europe via the Mediterranean Sea,
Risking their
risking their lives. Many of them have lost their
Died.
lives and died in that place. Reason is because they are running away from one bad government to another good government. They are looking for what we call utopia. Everybody in life, we have about 8 point something billion people living in the world today. Everybody is motivated by the quest for what we call utopia. Utopia means good life.